We do it every week. Are we on now, Brett? There we go. I say it every week.
Yeah.
What'd you do this weekend? Anything good?
Me? Oh, gosh, I had a busy weekend. Sports, kids. You know, we have a flag football league that we do with my son every Sunday.
Okay, you hit that off now.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know I was supposed to.
You thought it would just fade? Did you think it would
I thought it would fade away, right? I mean, that's the way professionals do it.
Right.
We don't have a big budget. To be honest with you,
Without a big budget?
We ran out of money.
I doubt that.
Tell you what, you got a lot of wires.
Yeah, there's a lot of setup in here. He's been here for about probably an hour and a half setting up.
We've done this show, so Michael, we're so fortunate to have Michael Waltrip on.
Turn off your phone or whoever that is.
That's not mine.
I can say it with
silent, Ron. Silent.
I can say my friend.
You do this? Are we live? By the way, is this on live?
Yeah, it's on YouTube or Instagram.
So that's where you can. Where can we find us?
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Okay. Do you know any of those sites or
Instagram?
we just?
Usually, what happens is after we're live right now, so be careful what you say.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then we go, then Brett edits it.
Okay.
And then we go on YouTube.
Oh, cool. So you can say whatever you want on YouTube.
So Michael, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while.
Do you have an 8-second delay, Ron? In case I say
No, not really.
Well, you're a pro at this. You're the one that should be over here.
I'm kind of excited about this.
I'm in a bar, so gotta tell you.
Well, the only thing we're missing here is the beautiful. Well, there are some beautiful women here, but
we're Miss Winston over there.
Yeah, that's right. We're missing the ambiance.
I don't think you're missing anything. The neon.
Oh yeah.
Who's those two skinny guys up there on that?
Yo.
One thing about characters, you can make them anything you want. Back in 2000, that was me.
I don't recognize those two.
Well, we as you tell on the wall now, I put my real picture up there, so it's fun. But what happened your weekend? What's up, Mike?
Well, I'll tell you what. I feel like an evening DJ, like 12 to 4 a.m. Michael Waltrip spinning the hits because it's so dark in here, and you got the little neon, and there's liquor on the walls. I don't know.
How did you get into the TV?
So when I was a kid, started at 12 years old. I wanted to be like my big brother. It started before that, but that's when I first got in a race car. And so I just admired and looked up to my brother. He was my hero.
Okay.
He was everything I wanted to be. He was that.
How much older is he?
16 years.
16 years.
So
wow.
he was well on his way in NASCAR. He's winning NASCAR races.
So he was kind of like your idol, when you were a kid.
No, he was my idol.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you know what the best thing about my big brother is? Sometimes when you have an idol, they let you down. Uh-huh. He never let me down. He always did everything that I wanted to do. And I wanted to be just like my big brother. I mean, one thing about the relationship, I was a kid and he was sort of trying to make his way, and he didn't have any time for me. Mm-hmm. We weren't brother like you think of, but I just watched, and I wanted to do what he did. I wanted to do it so badly. And one thing that he did differently and better than the rest of the NASCAR drivers was his media savviness. Mm-hmm. He was just so cool. So, Richard Petty and Bobby Allison and those guys, they would show up in their cowboy boots and blue jeans. Daryl would come in knit slacks and a pair of hush puppies. He was different, and he lived that role. And so I learned not only how to drive a race car by watching him, but I also learned how to be media relevant, and how to make people tune in and say, wow, that guy's fun. That guy's cool. Mm. And so in 1990, I think 1990 is the first time that I got to be on TV reporting on racing while I was a racer. And then in 1996, there was a channel called Speed Channel. Eventually became Speed Vision, and then it became FS1. But they wanted to do a show on Mondays following the race with 3 drivers that were currently racing. Me, Kenny Schrader, and Johnny Benson were the 3 guys they signed up. And we would show up on Monday morning and tell stories about the weekend and whatever happened. And I've been with Fox. Fox Sports acquired Speed Vision I've been with them since '96.
Wow.
And so
That's a long time.
It's been a great relationship.
Yeah.
I'm old.
You
You're right, Frank. That's a nice way to say that.
You stayed out of trouble.
I've skirted it.
Yeah.
But yes, mostly.
Thank goodness there wasn't the cameras and the phones back then that there are now.
Yeah, we all know our role now.
That's right.
I have a real problem with figuring out AI. I think there ought to be a stamp that everybody can see when it's AI, because now I see things on the internet and I'll watch it and say, well, that's not real. Mm-hmm. Well, was it or is it?
Right.
Like, if there was a stamp on there that you have to have to take credit for.
That's a great idea.
I know it is. I don't know.
That's a great idea.
Has somebody already come up with it? Because it's so obvious to me.
I mean,
like
even,
a barcode. It's in the corner, and you click on it. If it's AI, and it tells who made it.
That's right. I mean, there's so many things that we see on the internet right now.
No doubt.
And the beautiful women, or
well, that's what I was thinking about, the women that I thought I was going to date on AI. Like, I'm thinking, oh, that girl's hot, and then one of my friends would go, that's AI.
They're private messaging him, and trying to set up dates. And
I'll tell you how old I've gotten. The beautiful women on the internet used to really be something to me.
Yeah.
Now it's just watching golf swings.
Yeah.
How does he hit it that far? How does that go? What do I do? So I spend a lot of time on my phone watching golf.
That's
tips.
a lot of thoughts.
I know.
That's a lot of thoughts.
Well, you haven't golfed with me lately.
Oh, I've seen you out there.
Yeah.
And I know you've won some tournaments. I know you're playing in a tour right now, but I've seen you out there on the bag tour, and people don't know how good of an athlete he is.
I'm sneaky short.
Everybody I'm sneaky short. Everybody thinks, just driving a car, maybe you don't have to be that athletic, but I played with a lot of the NASCAR guys, and they're really, really athletic. Danny's another one who's super athletic.
Yeah,
All
I think
you guys.
I think it's more of, I think it's
hand-eye
a little bit
coordination?
of that, but that, and also just an intense competitive spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, that ball is just sitting there. I can hit it. I know I can, and then you don't, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
So,
and you do everything in your power to try to hit it the next time.
I tell people all the time, I learned at a very young age that I was going to have to make a living sitting on my ass because I couldn't run, jump, tackle, shoot.
Well, you're tall. You're 6'4", 6'5".
Tall.
Yeah.
I was tall and skinny, and people would just push me around. And I noticed around town, most of the people that had jobs sitting on their ass were smart. I didn't really have that going for me either. So I had a big brother, though, and he was making a living sitting on his ass. And I'm like, I want to be like him.
Yeah.
Well, I golfed with Michael a lot back in the day when he kind of went through a transition, and we had a lot of fun.
I didn't transition.
Well, yeah, exactly. I just said turn AC down. But we had a lot of fun golfing. We were, when Michael went through, I hate to say it, but divorce, and Michael would stay at my house. We would go golfing.
Yeah.
And we had the best of times. He lived in, the only problem
I think I'm the only one that hasn't stayed at your house amongst your friends.
yeah, well, you have to get a special invite.
Well, you've invited me, and I've stayed the night before, but I've never had to stay an extended period of time. And I could have. There was a time when I could have, but we live so far away from each other.
Yeah, I think about Michael was, he used to live in Sherrills Ford, right? So
Yeah.
he would call you up and like, come on up the house. You got a pool, and we'd have, we had a good time out there, and it was that house is a lot of good memories out there.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of cash buried under in the fields out there?
No, I didn't do any of that. I know people that did, but I didn't partake.
And then you
in
bought the new
burying
house
cash.
that I liked that you built near
Yeah.
there. So that was, his family all had houses in
we
Sherrills Ford.
I moved to Sherrills Ford when I met Buffy. We moved there in '93, I think, and had 100 acres and was good friends with Dale Earnhardt, and he had a farm.
I mean, that was country back then.
Yeah.
That was country.
Way country.
Yeah.
There was no traffic on 150. That tells you how long ago it was. But Dale was my buddy, and he's like, he had like an 8-foot fence all around his property, and he had deer in there. And he came out one day and he said, "I'll give you the fence. You put it up, and I'll give you a couple deer." And so I had like a mini version of what Dale had out in Sherrills Ford, and I built my mom and dad a house there. I gave my sisters lots there, and they built houses, and so we had a compound. That's what we called it, and we raised Macy on the farm in Sherrills Ford, and she grew up to go to University of Michigan, and now she's a mechanical engineer.
Wow.
My daughter Caitlin lives in Mooresville, and she has wonderful little boys. So
So you're a granddad now.
×2, baby.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, and so it's been fun to see the girls grow up and find their way and be
I've seen you
happy in life.
I've been lucky enough to see you interact with your kids, kind of in small spurts when you've come down to the games and things like that over at the doghouse when we were doing the broadcasts. And, you could just feel how much you cared about them and how much they respected you.
Yeah, I was driving down the road this morning and Tim McGraw's song "My Little Girl" came on, and I called my littlest Macy and I said, I just wanted you to know I heard a song and it made tears come into my eyes because I thought about you when you were my little girl. Her mom had sent me a picture this morning of me and Macy together when she was probably 5 years old. So just those memories.
Butterfly kisses.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I think the most amazing thing about owning a restaurant is people like Michael and you, Frank, is you get to see the people raise their family, and you had all your family.
Yeah,
dinners
we've
here.
been here 100 times, Ron.
So you have like but I'm saying
He has
you
his own section over
But
there.
you have your birthday party, then you had your mom. It just went on. So I was always fortunate to have that a lot, to see the family grow, kind of. And I always told Red Rocks when we started, one thing I like is to see a kid becomes an adult. So, all of a sudden they're having their rehearsal dinner here, they're having their bridal shower here, they're having their prom here, and
You've lived a big life, Ron. I don't think you. Sometimes when you can sit back and reflect on some of the things that you've been able to do and the people you've been able to meet.
the friends is what it's about. Like Michael, we were really close back. I mean, we were really, really close back, and we had a lot of fun. I mean, we had a lot of fun. But you asked a question earlier, and Michael, he didn't know how many you won 2 Daytona 500s, and
Denny won 3.
Oh, jeez. Oh wait, all
He's
aboard.
not competitive though. He's going
All
to get back
aboard.
into racing now because you just brought that up.
I'm friends with the folks from TaylorMade, and they made me some balls, and they have the Daytona 500 logo on it, and the number on the balls is 3X, or 2X, and I called him and I said, can you make me some with 3X for Denny and 1X for Ricky and William Byron, please? And so they made me those balls. I'm going to share them with my buddies.
And
So do they do anything like on these for when you're done racing, right? Like in golf, you're not done. You're still competitive. You're still playing golf and other things. Do they do like a senior tour for racing?
No, because I don't know if you've noticed or not, but people get like on fire and the older
Too dangerous.
older you get, the
Well, the
less you
PF
care.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So
what was the one that Abraham started? Kind of older.
SRX.
SRX.
It was a combination of current stars and older stars, and I raced that for 2 years, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you did that.
It's funny you say that because I remember, being on a field and being on the kickoff return team, and this was back in the day when they would run down at full speed, you'd be taking on 270-pound guys running at full speed, super fast, and they're super big, and you're sitting there. And you go and you collide. But every time you go out to one of those things, you feel like, I might die. I might get paralyzed.
Yeah.
You're going to hit so hard. So when I had kids, it's funny how that perspective changed a little bit. I didn't know if I was willing to risk as much.
Right.
When I was young, I risked it all. I didn't care. I was just like, here we go, God, let's go. I'm in your hands. Take me and go hit him as hard as
what you please.
Do with me what you please, right? And then as you get older and you have your first daughter, I had my first daughter, then I had a son. You can't hesitate, but you think about it a lot more. Yeah. Is it the same thing in racing?
I think it was just a matter of how. So I would see a hole, and I'd want to be in it, but I would wait that half a second. Half a second on a racetrack's couple hundred yards. It's just crazy how intense it is. And I would know what to do, but I just couldn't pull the trigger. And so I enjoyed it. I got out front a couple of times and drove away because I didn't have to worry about all the traffic and things. But I just, I know it. I ran my last Daytona 500 in 2017, and I finished 8th. And I drove the car off the track and took it home and put it in my garage.
And you knew you were done.
And I was like, that's it for me. And at that level, that's it. The SRX was fun. And last April, there's an internet sensation guy, Cletus McFarland. I don't know if you've seen him. He's famous. He races cars, he boats, helicopters. He does a lot of stuff. And so last April, he had a race with like 30 Crown Victorias, and so I'm strapped in my Crown Victoria, and I race this race, and I'm going to do it again. He has another run coming up in November. It's called the 2 Hours of La Mullets. And so I'm trying to find my mullet partner, and I'm going to race a Crown Vic in a couple weeks. But that's just fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I still, I was racing with Cletus McFarland and Greg Biffle and Butterbean Queen, and
Butterbean Queen.
I was competitive.
Yeah.
I was right there with them, and I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And it was funny because Cletus had a blue light on his car, on his roof, and every time I go in the corner, I look in my mirror and I'd see a blue light chase me. I'm like, that's funny. But he never caught me.
Yeah.
You're in GGT and you won. He won Diamond Creek, I believe, right?
Back in the day, and then I won the Grove this year.
So how does that compare? And it's probably a bad question, but I'm a bad sometimes questioner. But compared to winning Daytona 500, what was the? You won the Daytona 500.
First off, you have to explain what the GGT is
I
to
guess
people.
the Golf Guys Tour,
There
which
you
is 20 of our friends or 24 of our friends that come on, and Denny started a league and Michael's one of them. And it's
So there's
a handicap.
24 guys.
I think there's
22.
22.
Okay. And then we do a handicap system, but when you win, I really feel like it's hard to win.
Yeah,
against
I haven't.
22 guys.
I started the inaugural season. I won Diamond Creek either the first or second year, and then won somehow this spring at the Grove. And
At the Grove, that's so cool.
yeah, I'll tell you a funny story about that. So I get done like probably 30 minutes prior to the guy that was in second chasing me, and so I'm sitting on the porch at Michael Jordan's course in Jupiter, Florida, and I'm having a Chardonnay, and I'm waiting for Brandon Suggs. He's the guy that's chasing me, and if he makes a par, we got to go to a playoff. A bogey, I
You
win.
win.
And so I'm waiting patiently and having wine. I'm a little nervous, so I had a little more wine. And so Brandon gets there, and he misses his putt for par.
Oh, wow.
And I win. And so Michael is there, and we have a celebration. Denny presents me with the trophy, and I got the trophy, and I go up, and Michael and I have been betting all day. He was playing. He's not in the Golf Guys
Yeah.
Tour, but he's playing that day. And we had a bet, whatever it was, I don't know, 100 a hole maybe, and so we got all done, and I had my trophy, and I had a good attitude.
Yeah.
I was feeling really
I bet.
good.
A lot of
about
Chardonnays.
a lot of Chardonnays,
Yeah.
and a lot of love for a great day, beautiful day in Florida, and so I go up to Michael, and I said, he said, he did the scorecard. He said, "Oh, you $400." I'm like, cool. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll waive the $400 and let's just take a picture of me with my trophy. He said, I don't do pictures here. I'm like, well, I mean, I know you. I'm your friend. Like,
Yeah.
He said, pay me $400 and I'll take a picture.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, you owe me $400. He said, give me another $400. I'm like, all right.
So you had to get paid for it.
I paid
Yeah,
Michael
paid
Jordan
for
to
it,
have
yeah.
his picture
Yeah,
with me,
that's
which
right.
I thought is the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, instead
and
of-
I'm like, all right, yeah, sure, no problem.
I guess what when you win in such a big event like that at the Grove, and now the Daytona, when you won your first one, was it at the last? Obviously, I forget when you won. Did you win coming off the last turn, or were you ahead, or what happened for you to win?
A couple of things. When I won the first one, I was leading, and Dale Jr. was pushing me, and we won that race. And then 2 years later, I had the best executed pass of my career, and as soon as I got the lead, it started raining, and so a lot of times, like I've never told anyone this, when I'm standing over my ball to putt it in from 6 feet, I'll just say to myself, remember that move you made in Daytona?
There you go.
You
Yeah.
just try
The
to have
good
that
thoughts,
positive,
absolutely.
that kind of energy, and I'll putt it. but only it doesn't go in most of the time. So
Yeah, damn it.
maybe I need to think of something. Maybe I need to think of something else to think about.
It's funny you say that because I played with Fred Couples, and I asked him. I was kind of, when you're playing with other great athletes, you want to pick their brain to kind of say what makes them great, and you're just asking friendly questions. And one of the things when I was playing with Fred, we were at Longview on, I believe it was the 10th hole, and I said, well, Fred, you've been playing great. I mean, he was like 3 or 4 under, going into the turn. And you knew he had it. Everything was clicking for him. His putting was good. And he has a bad back, so he's not really always going to play great. But when he gets it going, he gets it going. And I said, what do you think about when you get it going? What do you visualize? And as he's sitting there on the 10th tee, he's sitting there talking about, well, I'm thinking about this 1985. I'm in Carnoustie. And as he's talking to me, we're about 210 yards. I'm going to hit this 6-iron, and I'm going to flight it up there, and I'm going to see that tree, and I visualize that shot that I hit there. It reminds me of this hole, and he hits this shot, and it just does exactly what he's saying. Like he's speaking to his ball as it's in the air, and it's going to land softly and go about 4 feet from the hole, and it does exactly what he says. And I said, gosh, I mean, if we could always just do it that way and not think about all the negative things that creep in our head, like the water over there, the sand trap over there, or the time that we failed, it's so much more impactful, I guess, when you're doing things like that. It was crazy how good he was, and how the ball, you're speaking to the ball.
Yeah, I got to play with him in Scottsdale or Phoenix prior to the Champions Tour event there when we were out for the races.
Great guy.
And we won.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you were playing with him.
Yeah, he was my pro.
Okay.
And so we were able to win and got to spend the whole day with him.
So you're doing a lot of winning on the golf course.
Well,
how's that handicap treating you?
So I went to Italy in October.
Good Chardonnay there.
And I was gone for 14 days, no golf. And I tell my friends, I said, about day 10, Glenn texted me and said, "Are you okay? We have a knee thing? Show what's wrong." Because, I play all the time. Mm-hmm. And when I didn't put a score up for 14 days, Glenn thought I'd been injured and they were worried about me. I'll probably gain 125 rounds this year.
Okay.
But I have a job that's a loose term. I have to show up from about middle of January till this week, end of October, and so I still am able to get in that many rounds. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how many I can get in one day when I'm not working for a living.
What speaking of championship, and our friend Denny is in the championship, and with the other 3, and maybe trucks, which you do, right? You're going to do trucks, but who's in all the series? Who do you think has the advantage in the Cup, Xfinity, and NASCAR?
Well, for the trucks, Corey Himes had a record-breaking year, and it was funny. We had a media event earlier today, and someone said, we sound like a broken record talking about your broken records, because every record he's shattered, and he's had an amazing season. But it's one race to be the champion, so I'm picking Corey Heim in that. Xfinity, it's been fun to see Connor Zilic do what he does, but Justin Allgaier,
Well, explain to the novice, because I'm a novice. The Xfinity is different from the Cup. How?
So you got Cup is the major league.
Top, yep.
Xfinity is AAA.
Okay.
And Trucks is AA.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's, I don't know, if you don't agree with that, you're dumb.
Yeah.
That's exactly how you explain it.
Right.
And but you can go. Some guys show up in AAA or AA, and they go straight to the majors. Mm-hmm. It's the same.
Right.
There's no difference.
Right.
And so for people that aren't NASCAR fans, and then the playoffs, you race the whole season, and the last 10 races in Cup, you eliminate 4 drivers a race, and 4 every 3 races, and then the final 4 go to Phoenix to race for a title.
Okay.
So they eliminate drivers, and so in the trucks, there's 4 guys that are going to be racing for a championship, and that's Friday night on FS1. And
just 4.
And you do the broadcast from here, or do you do it from there?
We do it. We do some from here and some from there, but this weekend will be from here. And I don't care. People that think that we don't do as good, like a lot of people are like, you don't even care, you don't go to the races. Well, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. So we just had a meeting with all the drivers, the 4 championship drivers today. I'm very good friends with many of the drivers and crew chiefs. I know everything I need to know to do the broadcast, so get over it. But so Friday night, you got to put Corey Heim as the favorite to be the champion. And then the couple guys that are racing on Saturday, Connor Zilich, I mean, that'd be fun. He's a kid, 19, I think. It'd be fun to see him. And then on Sunday, we're all pulling for Denny. We've been buddies with Denny and golfed with him for a long time. I feel like it's going to be. I would put Larson as a slight favorite. I don't know what Vegas says.
Denny, but that's
Yeah, I would
by a lot.
Yeah, it's
2 to 1, 2.5 to 1.
It's so tight, and so I think Denny's got to beat Larson, and if he beats Larson, he'll be the champion.
So what separates the good from the best, the one that wins? Is it the motor? Is it the talent? What is it?
It's everything, and we're talking about the elite racers in the world, these guys, and so. The prep, like this is what so many fans,
right,
or especially
the little things,
the people that don't follow it every day. Thank you. So think about this. This is something that I think is important to put your arms around. So you look at that car, right? It's sitting on pit road, and it has to go through an inspection station, which is laser beams pointing all over it. And when it comes in there, there's tolerances of like 100 grand, 100 thousandths of an inch, or 200 thou. And all over that car, it scans it, and it says, you're green everywhere, you're good to go. Or you got a red splotch here. Like there's like 8-10 stations on this car. You're red here, you got to fix that. These engineers and these teams take that body of that car and they tweak it within that less than 1/8 of an inch all over it, to get the body where it needs to be for the most downforce.
And that equals what on a racetrack?
Equals 1/10 of a second.
Okay.
It might equal 1/2 of a second. But when you take that mentality, Frank, and you run it all through the system, whether it's the body, whether it's the suspension, whether it's the shocks, no matter what it is, all those things add up. And that's why there's hundreds of engineers that work at Joe Gibbs Racing and hundreds of engineers that work at Hendrick Motorsports. They're trying to figure out any way within inside of the rules that they can tweak that car to make it be a little bit faster.
That's incredible, because it's funny how sports cross over in that way. Maybe not to that degree. I mean, you're talking about inches and millimeters and just minute amounts. But when it comes to like football or basketball or baseball, the great ones, they're not just great on the day that they're performing. They're great all the time. They're great in everything they do. They're great in the way they wake up. They're great in, greatness isn't a part-time thing. It's an all-the-time thing, for them. And, the little things are what makes the difference. Touching the line if you're running a race on a on a field and you're conditioning. Why does that matter? Because it's a little thing that, adds up.
You might be able to bend down and do something that you couldn't have done.
Or it's just the thought of reaching to where you're supposed to reach and doing it the right way versus cutting it short and not reaching or not getting there, right? But if you're willing to not get there this time, then when those things come to a game and a situation, I mean, the difference between winning and losing is 1 or 2 plays, and that might be the difference.
And if you think about Ronnie Hatz here, we were at Vegas with Denny. He goes to driver introductions, and then they give them a few minutes after driver introductions to get to their car for the national anthem, the prayer, and then they get in and go. Then he runs back to his motorhome to get on his computer and look at what the analytics tells him he needs to do on the start, where he needs to go, what he needs to do. We didn't have that when I was a race car driver, luckily, because I would have sucked at it. But we didn't have all the technology and the data that's available to these guys today. But it's there. You gotta be willing and eager to use it.
And that's where the team part comes into that. When you talk about team for NASCAR, it's we all just think maybe the amateurs do, the novice do. They think about the driver, and I don't really know all the nuances. And it's interesting to listen to these things because, I'm figuring out how important everybody's job is and what they're doing to make this product come to the point, which is the driver going out there and driving the finishing product.
One thing I want to say is, Frank, you watched film, and one thing about Super Bowl when Jason Kyle, he was talking about Sean Payton, they were going to do an onside kick. They practiced for 2 weeks because the guy tight end, he always moved back, and they kicked the ball at that spot and they recovered the thing, right? So I think film. But the biggest thing I want to ask Michael is, if I talk to the drivers, whether it's Stenny or William Byron, they eat here, and they all go in these sims. So what did you have a sim back in the day, Michael? Like
No.
what? I mean, that's
A sim. What's a sim?
So that's a big part of the driver's job these days. They
Simulator.
yeah, they get inside of this car, and this car is fully automated. The team puts a setup in it, and the driver goes and drives it and says, "I don't know, felt pretty good. What else you got?" And they chain it up. They go through the whole.
And the reaction is the same as the shaking and the wheel and
Only I know. I got in one time. I ran like 10 minutes.
exhausted.
Not exhausted as much as I was nauseated.
Oh.
All the movement, my brain couldn't.
Right.
Couldn't. But that's what these guys. I mean, that's what it's all about right now. Is all the data and all the science that they can consume. So when they go on that track on Saturday or Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this weekend in Phoenix, they know everything they need to know. And if the truck or car doesn't do something they want it to, then they report that to the team, and the team goes to work on it and adjust it accordingly. It's crazy.
It's become mostly data then. Yeah.
Yes, it's and that's the world we live in,
Yeah,
Frank. You
yeah.
can't help it. People are like, "Well, I like it back in the '80s." Well, great. It's not ever going to be.
Have you taken away the talent of the driver though by doing this?
No, I think I still want to have no. Look at the 4 guys we got.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a reason why they're always there.
yes.
Yeah.
And Denny has been there repeatedly, and William is a Daytona 500 champion. Kyle Larson, arguably one of the best drivers in the world. It's a great and I love the year that Chase Briscoe's had. He's put himself in a position to be legitimately the champ,
Right.
with his performance week in and week out.
Yeah. Are you a poker player?
No.
You would be a good poker player.
Yeah.
But here's why you'd be a good poker player, because you understand the data, the analytics, things like that. But people ask, the question when they watch these like World Series of Poker, and the final table and things, why are these guys always there? What makes them different? Because everybody is lucky, and you're going to have to go through that and withstand all those things. But why are they there? Because they have the ability to focus longer than everybody else, and they do the little things, and they understand the math.
The little things.
And they understand the math, and they understand the reading, and they understand the story that's being told, and those types of things is what makes them outlast everybody else.
No doubt, and it's the same in NASCAR. And I was glad I haven't been around Denny at the track lately, but I was so happy to see his commitment on Sunday in Vegas. And if he wins the championship, that could be the difference. That not that single event, but just his energy to get to that computer and open it up and type in restarts at Vegas or lane choice at Vegas. That just shows you how committed all these guys are.
I think that's what I noticed, being around him a long time, is that it is funny you say that, because, we used to talk, joke around, watch football, and next thing you know, once he gets on that computer, he's now can look at, people's restarts. It's amazing to watch somebody's talent, but then also the work you have to put in, probably like you did in football. You probably didn't watch film, right?
No, I watched a ton of film, and it's funny because a lot of these kids coming into college and pro today, the entitlement and some of the things that they're going through, the amount of money they're getting at a young age, they don't necessarily. I'll give you a good example. Cam Newton's a good example. Cam Newton could have been the greatest quarterback of all time because of his physical attributes, right?
But he didn't do the work.
I think he did what he thought was work. I think he thought he was working hard, but what is that compared to Tom Brady, right? If Tom Brady's the gold standard, what are you doing in comparison to him? Because everybody's getting better. Everybody wants to get better. Everybody's watching film, but how do you watch film? What are the steps that you're taking? And that's where you have to replicate the people that are having success. And yeah, you're working hard, and you're working probably harder than most of the people here, but Are you working harder than what the great ones are doing? The ones that are winning championships, the ones that are having success, the ones that are getting more out of less than what their bodies are giving. They're getting more out of that. How are they doing that? How is Tom Brady doing that? How is Peyton Manning doing that? How are these Drew Breeses doing those things consistently? Because they're doing those little things. They're putting the time in. They're working harder than everybody else. And I'm sure Cam felt like he worked hard.
Right.
He's in there sweating like everybody else and exhausted when he's done. But is that the end of it, right? Or is it, what's next? Like, Denny's a great example. Okay, I've done all the little things, but I'm going to do a little bit more. It almost consumes you, with what you are to be a perfectionist in your profession.
And then also, I haven't talked about this, but the significance of pit road. They time you down pit road, and you have to have your RPMs set precisely to your speed to what the time is on pit road, so then you have to get to the pit road speeding line as fast as you can, and then you stop in your pit, and these college, sometimes pro athletes that play basketball, football, they hop over the wall and put on 4 tires in less than 10 seconds.
That's amazing.
And then you bolt out of there and make sure you maximize your time on pit road. I feel like that it's really unfathomable how many details there are that go into winning a race on Sunday.
Well, there's so many moving. I would never have guessed in a million years how many moving parts that go into this. And you think of just the race on Sundays, and I know there's a lot more to that, but I just didn't know the intricacies that went along with that. Like the going through the lasers and finding the milligram that you're off, which is going to slow you down. Because of the wind draft or whatever it is, or get you heavier. Whatever it might be. Those things matter.
The pit road now, Michael, when you were driving, what happened? Was there any time that you really got mad at the people? Did you ever you're driving in, you're having a good race, and all of a sudden, 18-second pit stop.
Oh, it happens. I was leading Darlington in '91 and had dominated, and the last pit stop, the guy took the tire off, and when he went to put it back on, he forgot to turn the gun the other way, and so he buzzed all 5 nuts off instead of putting them on. And then he got a tire on, and I had a 40-second pit stop. And
you're sitting in the car. What's your reaction? How do you?
I'm just, this can't be real.
Right.
This isn't happening.
You did everything right.
Everything all right. Yeah. All right. Everything right all day, and then it just didn't. But it's the human element. I think I could have done probably a better job of dealing with it than I did at times because I kind of lost my shit. But it's just.
So do you lose your shit of the guy that did it at the end when you come back, or you just let it go?
It'd be hard not to.
It was funny one just to tell. I don't know if this story will do good. Maybe you'll get it. But I had a scrub up at Pocono one day, and so we stop in the pit. The guy's putting some tape on the fender, and one guy's doing this. And the crew chief is saying, "Get some tape over here. We need to knock that door out." And the fuel guy, when the car is full of fuel, the catch can man, his job was to go. She's full. So you could go. And so the crew chief's like, "Put some tape there, bang that out." And the guy's got his hand up while they're working on it. He goes, "And Tommy, put your hand down." It's just there's so many, I don't know, so many moments in your career that make you smile and make you cry.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you're feeling when you threw the helmet at Robbie Gordon. What happened there? Because that was one of my memories.
He threw it at me.
He threw it at you. What?
He called me a piece of shit.
So you're driving around the track.
Did you deserve it? Did you deserve it?
Well, it depends. I don't know what side you're on. So here's what happened. I was racing with Robbie, and I went into turn 1 and 2, and he just shoved me into the wall, shoved me up way high, and it made me mad. And so when we got going straight, I hit him, and he wrecked.
Retribution.
I mean,
Seems fair.
I probably. I don't know if I overreacted or not as I look back. I know you're not supposed to just intentionally wreck someone, but he intentionally shoved me out of the way, and I'm like, that's not cool.
Well, isn't it kind of like standing up for yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be pushed around.
I wasn't going to take it. And so then he threw his helmet at me, and I'm in this NASCAR car with a window-net and a helmet on, and when they show it from my in-car camera, when he throws the helmet at me, I duck. like it was going to hit me.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Right.
I guess I don't know.
Just reaction.
And so they played my in-car radio. I said, he threw his helmet at me. I don't know why he did that. Well, yeah, I do.
Yeah. So do you guys get reputations out there on the track?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know today. When you think about the top drivers of the day, I don't see them being talked about like that.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Spencer they called him Mr. Excitement. He was just he would overdrive. He would try to exceed his talent, and he caused a lot of messes. And Dale Earnhardt was the intimidator, and Dale would run into you, and then if you wanted to fight about it after the race, he'd beat you up. And so it's really interesting. Terry Labonte was the Iceman. He would just sneak in there and beat you. The reputations of the guys back in the day and the nicknames. Mark Martin was known as the most fair driver ever. He would beat you, but he would never run into you. So it's just a different world today because, when I think of the four guys racing for a championship, Larson, other than Larson's got this, he races dirt cars every weekend. He's run the Indy 500. He's very, very well respected in the world of motorsports. But Denny's not intimidated by him.
Right.
Chase Briscoe says, I'll take him down. And so...
So it's similar. I mean, you can't be intimidated by guys when you're going against them. I mean, if you go up to, let's say, the line of scrimmage as a football player, and you know that guy's pretty good, but you're like, okay, if I just don't make a mistake, he won't kick my ass. You're going to get your ass kicked. You have to go up to the line of scrimmage knowing that's Bruce Smith or that's Aaron Donald or whoever it might be and said, I'm about ready to kick this guy's ass, regardless of who it is. And you have to feel like that or else you're gonna fall back and get your butt kicked.
Do you think Ross Chastain, he's a very good driver and all that, but do you think when he was pushing people out of the way, now it doesn't seem as, do you think it affects you a little bit?
It's a good question. You have to conform. I think you have to I think a guy that's going through that right now is Carson Hocevar. He's got a reputation of running into a lot of things. Now that's if running into a lot of people, bumping people out of the way. Well, that's cool if you're bumping them out of the way to go win, but if you're bumping out of the way to run 16th, that's not what you're after. And so when you talk about Ross, he's very aggressive, but I think he might have been the point on, Ron. He's sort of backed her down a little bit, it seems. And I just have this real desire right now to do this. All right. Podcast here from Red Rock, Burkeville,
Ronnie Hats,
Huntersville, North Carolina. We're gonna go to the break. We're gonna go to a break. Please watch for the QR code and also the website in order to order some Ronnie hats. We'll be right back. Y'all need to put some of those in with this atmosphere.
I know,
that's
right?
Brent over there. Brent, you get, you kind of, well, that's okay.
This is a place. So,
But you do, when you watch on YouTube, we do run the ads. But it's funny because I listened to Action Detrimental at the beginning, right, Frank?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Michael, and there was no commercials, not one. So now you listen to the whole thing. It's like it's half the
they got to
show
make
is
money.
commercials.
They got to make money somehow.
You know, Frank,
what I think you ought to do is when we're done, I'll stay and record some throws to commercial. All right, here's a message from El Presidente, the best tequila in America.
yes. I like it.
I don't know.
That's perfect.
What do y'all think?
Absolutely. I think that'd be a hit.
No, I think
That way we can get some some sponsors.
Yes, we need sponsors.
Yeah, we've actually, this has been our year show today. I think, is it a year today or one more than that? 53 shows.
yeah, this 53 or 54 actually.
54
So,
shows, and we. Frank has his own show too, Michael, which is called Suits Up.
Yeah, Suit Up Sports.
And he's been on the show, how many times now?
4 or 5. I would think I might have been on
I think
one.
like 7.
Oh, 7?
Yeah,
maybe more than that.
It's been a few. Yeah, with the ice skating one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That was a lot of fun.
cool.
Yep.
I might have been on one of the inaugural voyages, with Ronnie with the Ronnie hats here.
Yeah.
when we were
what
doing it over
year?
there at the other place. Yeah, this year I think this is the first year, right? It's the only year you've been doing this, right?
You know, the hat thing is funny because I started the hat thing for, Denny have all those hats. Every year I'm thinking about burning all the hats that we
Burning
had.
them?
Well, we have a lot of hats that we went
Let's
through.
give 'em
We have
away.
one. This is maybe it. This is the all aboard. We've done everything you possibly can to win this damn championship.
Well, I mean, that's a great promotion for the restaurant.
And Michael, the funniest one is
Spend $100, get a hat.
Jimmy Johnson, when that was the closest one we ever had to win a championship. That's when they had when they did the points for the season. We were up by 10 or 12 points at Homestead, and Biffle came down on. I don't know racing, but I think back in the day, maybe you can teach me this because I don't know. But they shared ideas and shared. Like Kyle Busch had a better setup, so he used Kyle Busch's setup. Then he qualified 36 and blah 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 blah. And then he ended up. Do you remember that year when Denny had that chance?
No.
No, you don't. You don't even remember that.
He's honest.
We had
That's a lot. There's a lot of years.
You seem to have more intimate details about the whole situation.
Yeah, we
than
had
I
a
could
yacht
even
on
imagine.
Wednesday too with no allowances. I remember that too. So.
Well, you probably definitely remember those details. We're talking about crossing over sports, and you mentioned AAA. Is there a guy in sports today that you look at and say, because greatness, you want to see great things happen. Like Ohtani right now in Major League Baseball, what he's doing is incredible. Jordan in his prime, you're friends with him. Being around him, the type of guy he is, all the things he does. Is there a guy today that you look at and say, gosh, I just enjoy watching what he does?
I know I'm old, so this is gonna.
It could be anybody.
It's Aaron Rodgers. I just think that's cool.
Yeah.
That he's still gunning it right along and doing a good job. And then just golfers seeing what winds up on the Champions Tour, but just people. I played golf the other day with Ben Crane, and he's 49 3/4, counting the days till he can go on the Champions Tour. And just there's a hole we had Waltrip Brothers the other day. It's a charity event that raises money for motor racing outreach and other local charities. Ben, there's a hole where you time yourself. You try to get in the hole as fast as you can. So Ben was on the tee box, and he told my buddy Brian, he said, go stand at 295.
That's where he's going to hit his drive.
In the middle of the fairway.
Yep.
49-year-old Ben Crane hit it to my buddy's feet. And just the talent that people, I'm telling you a story about Ben Crane. A lot of listeners probably never even heard of him, but he was top 50 in the world, probably on the PGA Tour for a while. And I just appreciate the older fellers these days, and seeing people that can make it last a little bit longer than the rest.
It's funny. I played with a guy, Scott Verplank, who had the diabetes. He wore the little device on the side, and he was kind of one of the first ones that came out and was talking about that. We were in the Greater Greensboro Open, and the pros were playing from the tips, but it was a celebrity pro-am, and we had like 3 other amateur guys. And the 3 guys that we were playing with were okay, but they weren't great. I was playing really well, and I was probably beating Verplank on the front 9.
Wow, that's big.
Oh, I was playing, but he was also playing the tips.
Sandbagger.
He was playing the tips, and I was playing, the other tees that the guys were playing, which was probably half the distance, so like 6,500 versus 72. But I was beating him, and I got a little cocky, and I said, "Hey, listen, Scotty, let's make this worth something on the back." And he goes, "Okay, what do you want? I don't have your kind of money. I just signed my new deal in the NFL," and he thought I was making millions, which I really wasn't. But he says, "Let's bet 100 a hole." And I'm going to tell you what, the rough was about this thick, and he was just kind of messing around, wasn't really interested, but still having fun, kind of preparing for his weekend round, and just kind of betting with his caddy and picking they'd pick a pony and just bet on whoever was going to win that whole type of thing. But his focus went from like all over the place to when I said, let's go. I challenged him in his sport. And I'm a golfer, but I'm not a golfer like these guys. He came out there and the light went on, and he didn't miss a fairway. He didn't miss a green. And I think he was 5 under on the next 9 holes. It went from.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, this could be a good commercial here for you,
I
Michael.
suddenly
Sorry.
forgot he was talking.
Yeah.
What is your name?
Hey, this is Michael. Oh, sorry.
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Katie.
What do you have there? An espresso martini?
This is called Katie's Kiss of Death. So it's going to be a bourbon forward martini.
And you can get that exclusively here at Red Rocks? That is amazing.
And do you deliver it to everybody?
Are you going to
The kiss
present
of
one
death.
to Frank?
Oh, the kiss of death. Do I get a kiss of death? Oh, is this the drink or what's happening?
No.
Thank you.
You are very
Katie,
welcome.
thank you, Katie.
Look how delightful that was.
Katie works in the day at Red Rocks all the time. My favorite employee out of all 150 that we have. So
Ron, that's going to go on
I know,
on the
it's
internet.
not-
It's very Christmassy.
I always tell my friends
You're gonna have
remember, a lot of
149
stuff
employees
that we
mad at
say
you.
on here could be fake news. So I mean,
Yeah, nice to meet you.
So did you end up
Thank
losing you end up losing the Scott for blank?
Oh no, he lit it up on the back nine. But it's just funny how we're sitting here talking about the other athletes and how in their sport there's a light when everybody's like, well, why don't you go do this or why don't you go do that? Why doesn't Tiger Woods go play football or why doesn't Michael Jordan go play golf? Because they might be good at it, but they're not that good. There's a different level of good. When
Michael Jordan went and played baseball.
Well, he did, but he couldn't hit the curveball.
Well,
right?
I want to pivot into something. Speaking of baseball, Michael, tell us about your. I always when people throw out the first pitch, tell us about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did that 4 or 5 times, a couple of times. I'm a big Atlanta Braves fan, or I was back in the day, and so. But my favorite story is because I'm a Braves fan. I was in Miami, and the Braves were playing the Marlins, and I was going to throw out the first pitch, and so I go out there, and I'm a Braves fan, and so I'm there for the at the Marlins, and so like I get ready to throw out the first pitch, and if they had sent the catcher out, I would have never done this, but they sent that fish out. What's his name?
I don't know the Marlin.
Freddie the Marlin. Is it Freddie
Freddie
the
the
Marlin?
Marlin, maybe.
So
yeah.
they send that fish out, and I'm standing on the mound, and I know a couple of the Braves players. One is Chipper, and so I'm facing the fish, and I look at Chipper and I go, and he went. I said, and so I wound up and acted like I was going to throw it to the fish, and I threw it to Chipper. And Chipper caught it and come out, and we hugged, and that fish just walked off. And the fans booed. I'm like, I would have never disrespected the catcher.
Right.
But
the fish you did.
They
Yeah,
sent
it was a fish.
They sent a mascot. Who cares?
to catch your pitch. They disrespected you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the other day, I threw a pitch out at the Daytona Tortugas. AAA, AA.
Okay.
I don't know. They're whatever feeder, and I threw it, and I had practiced. I was ready, and I'm old, but I bounced it up there. Like I hit 6 feet, and it bounced one time, and he caught it.
It was a good short hop.
But then I went.
Bring it back.
Yeah,
I want another chance. Cut that take.
Give me one more, and the next one I got it there.
There you
So those, yeah, I've enjoyed getting to do that over the years. Been able to do a lot of fun things.
Well, you were sponsored by Napa too, right?
Yeah.
Correct? Which is Atlanta.
Yes, and that's probably how I became I became a Braves fan because when I was 12 years old, they came up with Turner Network, TBS, Turner Network Television, and I was able to see the Braves. Like we had 3 channels when I was a kid, Ron. You understand that.
Oh yeah.
And so
The antennas,
we
the old
finally
rabbit
got
antennas.
cable, and I could watch the Braves play, and so I became a Braves fan.
I remember I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and TBS was one of the big things on out there. And the one thing that they would show would be the Braves baseball, and the other thing would be wrestling. Right, Dusty Rhodes and
wrestling.
that old school wrestling.
Ric Flair and all
yeah,
that.
Well, yeah, the old school wrestling was Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair and Arn Anderson and those guys.
The Rock.
No, that was later. But I'm talking about the first ones back in like the late '80s when TBS was just becoming a station, and that's what all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. That's we'd had WGN, which is Chicago. We'd watch the Cubs. This is the 7 channels that we had.
Yeah.
And the other one was TBS, which was all the way out here in Atlanta, where we'd watch the Braves or wrestling.
Well, speaking of
We're
2000,
gonna take a quick break here. We're gonna head to break, and We'll be right back right after this message from Domino's. No? Should I have done that, Ron?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm in your restaurant.
We got another.
And I'm advertising Domino's.
Domino's is fine. They got to do a good DoorDash.
Hey, let me ask you, too. Y'all been asking me stuff like, where did you grow up and when did you know you had the body to be a professional athlete?
Gosh, that's a great question. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and as a kid, I was a fat kid.
Avondale?
No, Phoenix, Maryville
Right in
area.
town?
Yeah, right in town, right in the west side of Phoenix, and it was a tough part of town. We didn't know it at the time, but there were helicopters and police officers always circling the yard with their lights in the back and things like that. We lived in a little horse neighborhood that was allowed horses in Phoenix. Horses, like little. You could ride the horses. Yeah, horses. No, yes, horses, and not the other one.
Say that more clearly, please.
Yes, slow down. Enunciate. A horse says. Where they went out there, and we could ride down the canals and things like that. But anyways, I was 100 pounds in kindergarten. I get picked on a lot. I mean, think about that. I was 100 pounds in kindergarten. I looked like I rode the short bus to school. All right, but when I was one of those big guys that could do the things that little kids could, but I didn't know what sport I was going to play when I went to college. I was a better baseball player than I was a football player, better wrestler than I was a football player, but football was the only thing that really kind of fit my body. So I decided to go play football in college, and at that point, I really loved baseball, but I had to make a decision because if you're going to be a football player, you had to do all the things the football players were doing in the spring and lifting weights and getting big and bulky versus baseball players where they're stretching and not lifting weights and running and doing all their things. So I made a choice in college that I was going to be a football player. And, when I really kind of I was never like coveted, like I was going to be the first round draft choice or anything. I was a small guy for college, but we had a guy named Steve Ettman that was the first number 1 overall pick to the Indianapolis Colts, and I'd play against him every day, right? And when I realized I could play at that next level is when I was blocking him pretty regularly and consistently. And that's when I realized I could play football. And that's
What year was that?
1991. That was in 1990. I graduated high school, went to University of Washington. I had a couple of scholarships. Arizona State was, my hometown. I wanted to go there. They pulled my scholarship. Larry Marmee had come in, and John Cooper had went to Ohio State, and John Cooper had offered me a scholarship. When he left, they reneged on my scholarship, and I had to make a decision. Do I want to go here and walk on, or do I want to go where I have offers to other schools? And I really kind of wanted to stay home near my family. But one of the best things I ever did was going up to Washington to kind of grow up a little bit as a young man and having to do some, having to be responsible. So,
Two Super Bowls?
Well, we went to 2 NFC championships, 1 Super Bowl with the Rams, played here with the Panthers, went to NFC championship, lost to the Packers. Played with the Rams, the greatest show on turf, and lost to the Patriots in 2001, with Tom Brady. That whole year where they beat us like 17-14 or 2017.
They knew all your
Yeah,
plays.
well, they knew all of that. That was the first Spygate. Bless you.
Thank you. I'm back. It's
Is it
Michael
commercial?
Waltrip, along with Ron Herbert,
Red Rocks.
and Frank. We're here at Red Rocks. And Ron, I'd like to dive into a little bit of deepness with you.
Yes.
What made you move to Charlotte, North Carolina, and become a restaurateur?
Well, originally I wanted to be John F. Kennedy, and I went to school at Indiana University, Bloomington. My dad got laid off. I ended up going to Robert Morris. Then my uncle owned the largest law firm in Denver.
What year was this?
This is 1980, and for 82, 83. Okay. And I ended up moving to there. I was going to go to Denver Law, and I didn't go to law school. I ended up being in the restaurant business. Met a guy, long story, traveling around, met a guy named Rick Macaluso, and we started The Graduate, which you went to. UNCC.
I remember The Graduate. You were part of that?
Oh, yeah. We had poker machines, and we
At
did.
UNC Charlotte?
We did dollar beer night.
Yeah, I remember those.
And then, I wish I had video cameras back then because I would hand toss a pizza, get you a beer, and I would walk over and make you the food, and then Actually, if there were some girls in there, I might even be in the back. I mean, it was a crazy place, man. This was the spot, and I finally sold that, and I ended up 1998 bought Red Rocks with John Love. John started Loafers back in the day, if you remember that.
I do.
And in the restaurant business, but I think the biggest thing is,
What year was the Sunset Club? 99?
yeah, we own the Sunset Club together as well.
John and Ron and I.
I mean, but I think the biggest thing I
You
think
did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we started off at South End Brewery. We decided to move out from that and become a distribution company with a guy named Mike Smith and some of the other guys that were there, Mark Richardson, Mike Salamone, probably about 10, 12 investors. And we went and we started the Sunset Club with Mark and myself and David Wesley.
Yeah.
And MJ was a part of that, I believe.
Darius Rucker.
And then we had that for about 3 or 4 years. And then Ron came in and took over and wanted to be a partner. And I think we ended up just, partnering off and selling it and doing that for a little bit with Jason, Kyle, and who else? Who else was on our team?
I mean, Darius Rucker didn't want to sell when I sold. That was our,
It was a great spot.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm surprised you've never been there. Sunset Club back over on East. It was on East Boulevard.
I was there, but it's been 100. Whenever. What year did it close?
Probably what 2003, 2004.
Yeah, I was
around?
there in the 90s.
Yeah,
that was a great. I mean, that was a great time in my life. That was a very, very good time in my life. But then, the Red Rocks have been around since 1998. I decided to go something different. But I think it all starts. I think all three of us, to be successful, you have to have a good family and you have to have a good work ethic. And no matter what you do, you got to want to come to and drive yourself every day, and that's a big part of it. You know what I mean? So I got lucky.
Yeah, you live here. You're here quite a bit.
Yeah, I like it, but I appreciate the friendships I've developed with a lot of y'all. The last question I really have for you, Michael, because this has been bothering me with, like last night, or football, and you're going to Peacock, you're going to YouTube, you're going to. I never know what's anything on. Do you think it hurts NASCAR or help? I know they got a lot of money.
You're old, Ron.
I know.
The kids today, they know about all that shit.
So they don't care. You don't.
I don't care. If I want to find the race, even at my advanced age, I can find it. and I mean, it's going to have better ratings when it's on, network, like the last 3 races of the Cup Series has been. We're on FS1 for the trucks, but people make such a big deal out of so many details. I don't know, Frank, what you think, but the NFL's on different streaming services,
right?
Everything
YouTube, TV,
everything
Peacock,
is, everything is all over everywhere.
Right. That's
so
right.
I don't have a problem with it. I also don't have a problem with the playoff format, and a lot of people are tearing that apart, and NASCAR is thinking about changing it. And I guarantee you this: you can write this down and say, "You were right, Michael." Whatever they change it to, somebody's going to have a problem with that.
Well, Michael, how do you keep the kids involved? Because football, you have all the commercials and you have all the things that everybody does. In basketball, you have the 6-7 and younger players still playing.
What is the 6-7?
I have no idea, but every kid's doing it. The 6-7 is something LaMelo Ball started. Right?
Hey, I want to tell you what.
And
I
trendy.
went to the Hornets game the other night.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're fun. They have become a fun basketball team.
It was the craziest athleticism, like the way they fight and run and jump. Like, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, those are probably the best athletes in the world of all sports. But how do you keep those young kids involved with NASCAR?
It's a great question, and I don't really have an answer to that. Car racing is different because every kid in America can throw a ball, or they can tackle someone, or they can hit a ball. But every kid in America is not going to get a chance to race a car. So it's a bit of a smaller audience, if you will, if you look at it that way. Mm-hmm. But it's a passionate audience, and people love what we do. And every weekend, behind the NFL, NASCAR is the most watched sporting event on TV. So there's a lot of good things that is happening with NASCAR, and there's a lot of energy around it. And I think that we're just in an interesting time because of the streaming and all the different networks that they've chosen to broadcast the races on. I will tell you this, that NASCAR took money from the networks in order to show the races, and so it must work for them.
Yeah.
Well, even even the Table Talk, the Ronnie Hats with Table Talk, we're on
Yeah.
Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. What else?
Ronnie Hats, would you have thought that was anything you'd even know anything about 10 years ago?
What's that, Ronnie Hats?
No. The networks you could be on. You wouldn't have had that opportunity, and I think that's what's important to know.
Right.
This is an opportunity for people to get more content than they could ever get before.
I think, even my managers, I have a diversity of managers, but one manager, I'm like, it's 2025. If you don't know how to use Instagram, it's part of what we do. And I agree with what you're saying, Michael, about life. We have to live in 2025. It's a different era. I look at your car collection, like some of your cars, your favorite cars. I think, what's your favorite car? I know you pulled out. And what's your favorite car in your collection?
Oh, I don't know. Probably my 80 Z28.
But your 80 Z28, and I had a 280 ZX or 240 Z. What I'm saying is everything changes over time. And I agree with what you're saying. We have to accept that YouTube, Peacock, and all these stations are there. But we also have to, can you do maybe something for Denny this weekend? Is there anything we can do to give him a pass? We got to manifest it, right? Don't you believe in that or not? Manifesting or?
Well, I'm pulling for Denny Hamlin as we head to the end of our show today. Denny Hamlin, supported by All Aboard and Red Rocks.
So I should be playing this music right now as he's
Turn it on.
Yeah.
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 It's
there we
that
go.
time.
This now you can go.
No,
with
there's
that.
more buttons on there, so you know.
Oh, is there? Why not?
Yeah. Beautiful afternoon, Ron. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks, Brent, for showing up. Renee.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
You. And Frank,
Awesome.
as always.
Always fun.
Ron, it's another fantastic evening at Red Rocks. I love coming to your restaurant. The friendly service, the atmosphere, this place has it all.
Well, we have something for everyone, Mike. We can have a steak, we can have pasta, we have seafood, we have a kids menu. We have everything you need.
Well, thanks, Ron. Really appreciate you.
Red Rocks Cafe, newly renovated, your complete dining experience.
Hey, Austin.
Hey guys, mind if I sit with you?
Absolutely.
What should I do with this?
Put it over there by my two.